I have to climb up there? Oh my gosh. Oh geez. Oh.
Hey there hikers, Adam Hoyt here, and welcome back to the channel. Our little hiking spree around Boston is going to continue this week as we continue to delve in and explore the various mysteries of the eastern Middlesex Fells Reservation. Specifically, we're going to be following along the Rock Circuit Trail. Are there a lot of rocks on it? Will it live up to its name? I guess that's what we'll find out this episode. But hey, enough rambling, let's get hiking.
I don't like it. So I very quickly changed that out of it.
I went because I had to go into work. Well, I had a doctor's appointment Friday morning, so I drove in. It was dark.
And welcome back. That was the Rock Circuit Trail on the eastern side of the Middlesex Fells. The trail was a 4.5-mile loop with no real consistent elevation gain, but a lot of up and down as we went over and down different rocks on the appropriately named Rock Circuit Trail. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by this trail. Based on my prior experience in the Middlesex Fells, as you can see in this video right here, I don't know if I was necessarily looking forward to it. I knew it would be a solid trail, and it would take me a little while, but I was just pleasantly surprised. I guess spoiler for the review up ahead, but I had a delightful time going up and down the different rock scrambles on this trail. This trail certainly lives up to its name. It's almost as if the people who created this trail took a survey of the entire eastern section of the Middlesex Fells, found every single freaking rock in the whole thing, and was like, hey, that's where we're gonna make the trail go. There's really no explanation for why else. There's just so many up and down rocks and scrambles and things. The trail is very snaky, so they're definitely doing it on purpose just to make you hit every single major rock landmark to make it a nice rock circuit trail. But anyways, I digress. Let's continue. All right, so here we go, starting this guide off. You first need to have a good parking spot near the head of the trail. I would recommend the Flynn Ice Rink parking lot that's right near one section of the Cross Fells Trail. You're gonna have to cross the street from the parking lot to the Blue Cross Fells Trail, which we will take until we get to the beginning of the Rock Circuit Trail, which will be marked in white blazes. The entrance to this, though, is a little bit deceiving. It is kind of hard to miss. I missed it on my first go through. You basically walk up a hill on this rock, and that's where the start of the trail is. It's not the easiest to find, but once you find it, it's good. I did the trail, the 4.5-mile loop, in a counterclockwise direction, and so that'll be the way in which I describe this guy. So the trail, it really lives up to its name right from the start. You were going up and down rock scrambles, up and down little hills. There's no real appreciable elevation gain the whole way in a constant manner or a consistent manner, but you are definitely going up and down the entirety of this trail, so be prepared for that. A lot of up little hills, down little hills, and it starts off right away in the southern part of the park as we make our way counterclockwise. As we go through there, the rocks begin to get a little bigger. That's where most of the rock scrambling is in the south and eastern side of this trail loop. And so as we continue on the trail this way, the first big landmark we're gonna come to is an old MIT observatory from like freaking 1899.
What year is it?
Or something crazy like that. Apparently they built it to help do geological surveys, different land surveying techniques. It was built in 1899. I don't exactly remember when it stopped being used, but you can see the foundations of the building there, and there's a nice little sign that can explain to you a lot of the history of the facility. It is clearly no longer used, but what a cool little thing to find, one of MIT's observatories along the way. From here you can continue down the trail to the south and east as we go to some of the other more interesting lookout points. So the first big major clear observation point we're going to come to is, I believe it's Boojum Rock, well, something like that. You get a great view of the city of Boston. It is splayed out in front of you. There's a lot of exposed rock face that you can sit on and take a different peek from different little vantage points. You can see off to your right a little bit of Medford, off to your left some of Malden, and then straight ahead there's Boston right there for you. Pretty good view. And this is one of the most common views we will be seeing on this trail as we make it through the southern section of the Rock Circuit Loop. From Boojum Rock, we will continue a little bit north and we will cross a tiny little bridge, and from here we will be crossing our first road crossing of the trail over to another eastern side of the park. From here we will take a sharp turn south and go to another lookout point that gives you another view of the city of Boston. This one doesn't necessarily have a specific name, but it is also another very good view of Boston, similar to the one we saw at Boojum Rock. This is the southernmost part of the trail. We will then turn sharply north and head a little bit north towards, it might be the highest point on the trail, I'm not sure, but it is one of the most significant rock landmarks. They call it Pinnacle Rock. Directly after Pinnacle Rock, we will continue to head north, and here we'll come across the largest freaking steepest rock scramble of the whole trail. It doesn't even have a freaking name. It's not even that tall of a thing, but it is like almost a sheer face, and it is a nice rock climb. Some people I saw I was going up it, they were trying to come down it. They took quite a while to come down. It is very steep and a little bit scary. It was actually what I used for the hook at the beginning of this video. Not so difficult, but it is probably the most technical element of this trail, so much so that they even make a little side shoot of the trail so that you can go around it and not actually scramble up or down it if you do not choose to do that. From here, we just keep freaking heading north, going up and down various rock formations, some of them named, some of them not. You have Melrose Rock as well as Black Rock, and it gives you more views of the city of Melrose and Malden and other parts north which are very cool to take in. And there's a lot more. These ones are more of cliffs, these viewpoints, so it's fun to sit at the edge of the cliff and look out over it. After Melrose Rock, we basically made it to the top of the northern section of the eastern part of the Rock Circuit Trail, and we will bend back to the west, back the way we came. We will cross the road back over onto the western side of the eastern section, and from here the trail gets a lot flatter and not as rocky and steep. It's a lot smoother on this section as we get close to one of the reservoirs in the Middlesex Fells. And from here we cross around the reservoir, see another little pond, and we've made our way back to the start of the Rock Circuit Trail. And then from there, it's just a quick hop down the rest of the Cross Fells Trail back to the parking lot where we started. All right, notes for the trail. So the Rock Circuit Trail is on the eastern side of the Middlesex Fells. There's another group of trails that are also on this side. If there's a different trail that you think you'd rather do instead of this one is, I think, the longest and most difficult of the trails. So if you're interested in doing an easier trail on this side of the fells, the different trails are, you would have the Crystal Spring Trail, the Spot Pond Brook Historic Trail, as well as the Healthy Heart Trail. But in general, this trail, it is very rocky. Like I said, it lives up to its name, and it really reflects that. So be prepared, have the correct shoes. And then when it comes to the viewpoints, like I said, the southern part of the trail has most of the viewpoints for Boston. That's where you'll get those great viewpoints. On the northeastern side of the trail, that's where you'll get views of Melrose and Malden. Because of the viewpoints towards Boston in the south, that is also the section of the trail that happens to be the busiest, because those are the views that lots of people are trying to go check out. The trail was very well marked, white blazes everywhere, white blazes on rocks, placards on trees, different signs everywhere. The most likely way you would get lost doing this trail is just because there are really so many different trails snaking through here, crisscrossing the fells.
Look at that. Trail 1, Trail 2. Oh. 3 and 4, 5. Oh, and I guess this one makes 6. No one. If you're gonna get lost, it's because you go on one of the wrong trails.
So that's the easiest way you'll get lost, is if you accidentally go down another very well marked path that looks like it might be the trail, but it is not. So watch out for things like that. Look out for those white blazes, and you should stay true and narrow right on the Rock Circuit path. So for the difficulty of this trail, I would put it square in the middle of my middle ranking of road less traveled. It's not too long. It's not as long as the Skyline Trail on the western side of the fells. It's only 4.5 miles, but it is very up and down and lots of rock scrambles. Granted, for the steepest, most technical rock scrambles, they do give you options to go around, so it is not too overly difficult, and there are many different snaking trails and just other ways that you could shorten this trail if you want, and do a combination with other trails to customize it as much as you want. You're not climbing to the top of a mountain. It's just very constant, but a constant up and down of the elevation. And hence why I give it a road less traveled. All right, so for my review, you guys know what I'm gonna say. I was pleasantly surprised by this trail. I already talked about that earlier. I would definitely recommend this trail. Not even if you're just in Boston. I'd say come check it out. Of all the trails in the Middlesex Fells that I've done, I would say it was my favorite. It has the most viewpoints. It has the funnest rock scrambles and technical elements. It is not as long and monotonous as, say, the Skyline Trail, and you actually get views this time. Skyline Trail had one view, and if you hit it at the beginning, you weren't gonna get it again. But I really did enjoy this trail. If you're gonna do a trail in the Middlesex Fells, my recommendation is do this trail, the Rock Circuit Trail. But hey, that's just my opinion. Is this a trail you guys would want to explore? As always, in the comments down below, let me know what you thought. Is this one you want to check out? Do you think that the other trails are better? I think this one is the best one in the Middlesex Fells, but let me know what you guys thought down below. If you have other suggestions of trails you want me to do in the Middlesex Fells or any other areas in the suburbs of Boston, leave those in the comments down below as well. If you do feel inspired to do this trail, as usual, I created a custom all trails map of the trail with pictures and notes of the different landmarks along the way that I've linked in the description down below, as well as included links to all the gear that I used to make this video possible. But hey, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and be sure to turn on that bell for notifications so you don't miss another upload. But hey, that's it for me. I'll catch you in the next one.
Woo! I walked right past this thing to start. Whoa! A little spring. Oh my god. That's not even the trail. Why does it seem like the best foliage is here next to the road and not on the frickin' path?
I am tired. Oh gosh. And that's a wrap.